A company uses Amazon's DynamoDB as a data store for various kinds of customer data, such as user profiles, user event clicks, and visited links. Some of these use cases require a high request rate, millions of requests per second, low predictable latency, and reliability. The company wants to add a caching layer to support high read volumes. As a solutions architect, which of the following AWS services would you recommend as a caching layer for these use case? Amazon Elasticache, Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator DAX. A software engineer intern at a company is documenting the features offered by Amazon's EC2 Spot instance and Spot fleets. Can you help the intern by selecting the correct options that identify the key characteristics of these two types of Spot entities? A Spot fleet can consist of a set of Spot instances and optionally on-demand instances that are launched to meet your target capacity. Spot instances are spar Amazon EC2 capacities that can save you up 90% of the on demand prices. Spot instances can be interpreted by Amazon EC2 for capacity requirements with a 2-minute notification. A team has around 200 users, each of these having an IAM user account in AWS. Currently, they all have read access to Amazon's S3 buckets. The team wants 50 among them to have write and read access to the bucket. How can you provide these users access in the least possible time with minimal changes? Create a group that attaches the policy to the group and places the user in the group. A system administrator at a company wants to set up a high visibility architecture for a bastion host solution. As a solutions architect, which of the following options would you recommend as the solution? Create a public network load balancer that links Amazon EC2 instances that are bastion hosts managed by an auto scaling group. A healthcare company wants to run its application in a single tenant hardware to meet compliance guidelines. Which of the following is the most cost effective way of isolating the Amazon EC2 instance to a single tenant? Dedicated instances. A global logistics provider operates several legacy applications on virtual machines, VMs, within a private data center due to the access accelerated business growth and limited capacity in its existing infrastructure. The provider decides to migrate selected applications to AWS. The company opts for a lift and shift strategy for its non mission critical systems to meet tight migration deadlines. The solution must support rapid migration without requiring extensive application refactoring. Which combination of actions will best support this migration approach? Perform the initial replication launch test instances in AWS to validate the migration VMs before the final cutover. Use AWS's application migration services, MGN. Install the AWS replication agent on the source VMs. Launch a cutover instance after the completing test and confirming that replication is up to date. A global financial service operator, data analytics workloads across multiple AWS regions, and the company stores regulated data sets in Amazon's S3 bucket and requires visibility into the security and compliance configuration. As part of a new audit initiative, the company team must identify all three buckets across the environment that do not have versioning enabled. The solution must scale across all regions and accounts with minimal manual intervention. Which solution will meet these requirements with least operational overhead? Enable Amazon's S3 storage lens with advanced metrics and recommendations. Use the per bucket dashboard to filter and view the versioning status across regions and identify all buckets that do not have versioning enabled. A digital media firm is scaling its cloud footprint and wants to isolate development testing and production workloads. Using separate AWS accounts, it also wants a centralized approach to managing the networking infrastructure, such as subnets and gateways, without repeating configuration in every account. Additionally, the solution must enforce security best practices like mandatory logging and guardrails. When new accounts are created, the firm prefers a low maintenance, governance driven setup. Which solution best meets these goals while minimizing operational overhead? Use AWS's control tower to create and govern accounts, deploy a centralized VPC in a shared network account, and share its subnets across workload accounts using AWS's Resource Manager, AWS's RAM. A developer has configured inbound traffic for relevant ports in both the security group of the Amazon's EC2 instance as well as the network access control list network ACL. The subnet for the Amazon EC2 instance, the developer is, however, unable to connect to the service running on Amazon's EC2 instance. As a solutions architect, how would you fix this issue? Security groups are stateful, so allowing inbound traffic to the necessary ports enables the connection. Network access control lists, network ACLs, are stateless, so you must allow both inbound and outbound traffic. A development team is looking for a solution that saves development time and deployment costs for an application that uses a high throughput request response message pattern. Which of the following Amazon SQS queues types is the best fit to meet this requirement? Amazon's simple queue service, Amazon's SQS temporary queues. A research firm archives experimental data generated by an automated laboratory equipment. Each data set is about 10 megabytes in size and is initially accessed frequently for analysis within the first month. After this period, the access rate drops significantly, but the data must remain immediately retrievable if needed. Due to compliance policies, each data set must be retained in AWS storage for exactly 4 years before deletion. The firm currently stores the data in Amazon's S3 standard storage and wants to minimize costs without compromising data availability or retrieval speed. Which solution meets these requirements most cost effectively? Define an S3 lifecycle policy that transitions databases to S3 standard with frequent access S3 standards IA 30 days after creation and schedule the deletion of each object exactly 4 years after it is created. A special media application lets users upload photos and perform image editing operations. The application offers two classes of service, Pro and Lite. The production team wants the photos submitted by Pro users to proceed to be processed before those submitted by Lite users. Photos are uploaded to the Amazon S3 and the job information is sent to Amazon SQS. A solutions architect, which of the following solutions would you recommend? Create two Amazon SQS standard queues, one for Pro, one for Lite. Set up Amazon's EC2 instance to prioritize polling for the Pro queue over the Lite queue.